It's very important that we need to understand about the different symbols that we need to insert in these patipembas, and these different symbols are the subliminal messages, are the carrier, are that energy which try to keep the balancing of the energy of all the magical ingredients as well as the enfumbi. And I heard so many people talking about the ceremony of the Nkimba, that's to be scratched in palo, mayombe. That others know them as to be cut in palo. It's known as the Nkimba. In Africa, it's known as Kunjora or Enjora. Basically, many people need to understand what that's supposed to mean. Because once you are scratched, you die symbolically in the world of the living in order to be reborn in the world of the dead. But when we show these symbols, you're gonna see more clearly how this process takes place. Because what many people do not understand, that once the person who has been scratched, actually that person is born also inside of the magical cauldron known as the Nganga. And the magical sticks that surround that Nganga, one of those magical sticks, the spirit of the Enfumbe is gonna choose from one of those sticks. The person who has been scratched gonna be part of it, gonna be born, gonna be influenced by the energy of that magical stick. In other words, that person who is being initiated also gonna become part of one of the magical sticks of that Nganga. That's why you see that, and when this ceremony of the Engejo or Watoko, that is to be scratched in palo, first ceremony to be introduced in Palo Mayombe, when the year and 21 days get this person that old, this person we call it Pino Nuevo, new pine tree, because actually his spiritual life is attached to one of the magical sticks that belongs to the Nganga. Therefore, in our example here, we describe that this vertical line, we indicate that from one point all the way up is the spiritual growth of this person. Is how this person, if he is a good child and he's obedient to all the rules of Palo Mayombe, he gonna grow inside of the Nganga with strength and power. And the same we say for this vertical line, that actually what we mean is that his knowledge gonna be growing and growing, expanding all the knowledge that he's gonna be able to acquire from his godparents. And this is important to understand because I hear many people saying, "Oh, in the kimba, in the ceremony of being a scratch, you get some symbols once you get a scratch, like it looks like a cross." And they say, "Oh, that's the cross who represent Zambia, or God in the Congo tradition." And they are wrong, because that's not what really represent that symbol who resemble a cross, but it's not a cross. It's the union of these two lines, the growth and the expansion, that when they get together, connected, they form an entity and a spiritual being. It's very simple. That symbol compare, if we draw here, like a person. That's the same. So actually what the Palero is telling to the spirit, and let's keep this on mind. When we got, let's draw this circle, that means that the past life of this person who has been initiated into the ceremony of Engeyo, once this person is being scratched, it's going to resemble the circle where he's going to be trapped in the world of the dead. That is no other than the Nganga. This is the circle, the transformation. This is, in other words, this is the aura of the spirit of the Mfumbi. And inside of the aura or the spirit of the Mfumbi, that's where this person start to grow up. And once this person start to grow up, then his knowledge in the religion is going to be expanded from one side to the other one until it get connected. And at the end, this is what is known as an entity. And is inside the circle due to the fact that this person, which is a new pine tree, a pino nuevo, he cannot defend himself. So he's going to be protected by the energy, by the aura of the spirit of the dead. And then that's why we said that this symbol of the connection of the vertical line and the horizontal line, the growth and the expansion all together makes an entity. That's where the Ndundus lives. So that means that the person who has been scratched is going to be part of that world of the Ndundus. Ndundus we already described that are the spirits that the Palero use for a specific spell. It goes out, do the spell, but it comes back again to its original place. But in this case, it's going to go back to the Nganga. Because in our days, there are many Palero who give an Nganga to his godchildren. But then they are so foolish that they just give them the Mfumbi. But they don't put other spirits to assist the main spirit. And those spirits who assist the main spirit are known as the Ndundus. Same way as the Ndokis. The Ndoki we already discussed in a previous chapter, that are spirits who are living on a denial status, who deny to be dead, don't want to be part of that. They want to be living in the other world the same way they were living when they were alive. And that's what this spirit of low frequency, which their mind are kept in dark because of the refusal They refuse to the reality of their existence, that they are not part more of the world of the living. That's what the palero use as its own advantage to control this spirit, this dark spirit, offering them what they used to like when they were alive. And once they give them what they like, then they got their will. And they control this spirit to do as they wish. Because they know this palero, every time they give them what this spirit wants, they're going to be their servant. But I don't know why in our days there are so many paleros complicating the life of many of their practitioners. And I'll give you a better example of what I mean, so people understand about how the Nganga function and all these spirits, how they are part of each other and how they know each part and where. Well, very simple. I want to keep it simple. Let's say the Nganga, the magical cauldron, is like a place, like an industrial, like a company who got machines to produce different products. Let's say that's the Nganga. And inside of that company, we got the employees who are going to work, who are going to assemble different packages for these products. Those are the endundos. And then obviously we're going to have a boss. Somebody who want to keep an eye on the floor, how things are running, if they are running smooth. And if somebody doesn't want to do something, well, this boss or supervisor gonna go and they're gonna get into this person until he does or she does what it was supposed to be expected from that person. Well, this supervisor, it will be very similar in our term as what we'll say the enfumbi. And the owner of that place is no one other as the palero. So if you can see how simple, I try to give you an idea of what are the spirit, different spirit working on it, on the Nganga, and how they can move, they can flow, and how everybody works around with no so much complication. So please keep it simple. Stop the nonsense of some paleros that sometimes they forget that long time ago they used to be also new practitioners, and when they were new practitioners, they want to teach everything of the religion. Once they get into the level of being tatas or taita, they forget, they got no mercy, and then they are with a bad heart. Stop this foolishness. It's about time that we teach everybody who wants to be in this religion. Salam alaikum, alaikum salam. Piano derechito por guardarraya. I want to discuss with you today a few things that I'm real worried about it, because there are some new crazy, fanatic, liars, prankster, fakers, priests or practitioners that they call themselves paleros, but actually they are not. And they are implementing in their practices new customs, in which they start drawing on the walls, on the ground. They do these symbols. They try to use it, like to try to replace the real Patti Pemba's drawings. And instead of drawing a real Patti Pemba symbol, they are replacing the sigils by this foolishness, by these symbols who are not part of Palo Monte or Palo Mayombe traditional practices. I see these crazy people making drawings as a kidembo, a magical cauldron. They draw two machetes. They draw this guava stick. They symbol, this guava stick symbol. They draw this devil symbol. And they are so nonsense, foolish people that they want to teach others that these are part of Patti Pembas. You are a fool. You are a nonsense, crazy fanatic. Even if we go back to history, and if we go to the old traditional real Palo Mayombe Munanso houses, you never gonna see these real practitioners in Palo Mayombe use this symbol as if they were Patti Pembas. So you crazy, so-called yourself palero, I don't know from where the hell you got these symbols and where you got this idea, but I want you to have a clear idea that you are a prankster, you are a liar, you are a faker, you are a charlatan, and you just want to confuse people about the true essence of Palo Mayombe, because anybody knows that when you're gonna draw a firma, a Patti Pemba, for a kidembo, for an enganga, you were not gonna draw a magical cauldron symbol. That's foolishness. That's madness. You will draw actually the spirit magical symbol, the Patti Pemba, which belong to that specific spirit who dwells into that enganga. But it's crazy. You are out of your mind drawing machetes. Oh, and this is another thing that I want you as the viewer, to keep an eye open. Because I seen these crazy people who are not real palero drawing this devil symbol. If you likes to be drawing devil symbols, and if you are a satanic, well, Palo Mayombe have nothing to do with the satanic cult. Palo Mayombe, we are not devil worship. So, if you are a satanic or a devil worship, then you should define yourself as a satanic or a devil worship. But don't confuse people and try to confuse them by telling them, when you show these symbols in our tradition, that this is part of Palo Mayombe. That is not true. Then this fool, I heard him saying that he compared Lucero, and he said Lucero Monte Legua. You have to define yourself very clearly, because like I discussed previously, Lucero is in Palo Mayombe or Palo Monte, and Elegua is part of another religion, the Yoruba or Lukumi tradition, which is known as Santeria, and Elegua doesn't have to do nothing with Lucero. But you are the one who try to confuse people around. Because what you're doing, you are not a real practitioner of Palo Mayombe or Palo Monte. What you are practicing is what everybody knows, that is known as syncretized palo or cross palo. And what I mean with that is that there are people, practitioners, who doesn't have the true knowledge, the true essence of the secrets and the treatise of Palo Mayombe, and because they don't have that force, all that knowledge, or all those pacts, now they try to export these Yoruba gods or saints into the Palo religion and mix them up with the spirit of the dead. Good example of that, Sarabanda, the spirit of Sarabanda, which actually is exported, that Yoruba god, which is Ogun, the owner of iron. And they change it when they cross it into this syncretized Palo practice, and they say that it's Sarabanda. The same with Siete Rayo. Siete Rayo is no other than in Santeria known as Shango, the god of fire, the god of thunder, the owner of Añá, the secret drum. But what they do? Oh, they mix it up. And they say that it's Siete Rayo, 7 lightning bolts. Oh, Siete Rayo, and Sasi, Zambrano. And that's how they mix it with the spirit of the dead. And they got this bowl of salad, all mix it all together. And that's why you see all these practitioners, they don't have no clue where they're standing on because of all this foolishness. So open your eyes. And this is not the proper way how we draw patty penbats in our practices. This is some madness people, some crazy people who got no clue whatsoever of what they're talking about. They just defend their position by saying, oh, I have 40 years of this religion. And because of that, that will give you the certificate to confuse other people because of your own foolishness. So keep an eye on these crazy people. Whenever you see people drawing satanic symbol, call these people by the true name. They are not palero, they are devil worship. And stay away from this lunatic, fanatic, madness, faker practitioner, because they are nobody. When you see that they draw this guava stick that resemble the spirit of Elegua, then you know that what they're doing is mixing, exporting the Yoruba god with the spirit of the dead. So keep please your eyes open and don't get yourself confused with all these people who are confused. Salam alaikum, alaikum salam. Piano derechito por Guadarraya. Another thing that I've been keeping an eye on it about these crazy people, that it looks that they are frustrated drawer or painter, and when they were a child, their parents they didn't allow them to either draw or play, and now when they grow old, they want to let all that frustration out of themselves by drawing all kind of crazy symbols. You faker, practitioner, you madness is confusing a lot of people by your foolishness about these syncretized practices, by using syncretized palo or cross palo. And one of the things that I noticed is that they are drawing this square symbol in which you call it yourself the symbol of Mama Umbo. Let me tell you something. It's very clear. You have no clue whatsoever of pure Palo Mayombe means. Because if we believe that because you call yourself that you are Cuban and you have your 40 years of experience, you should go back to Cuba and learn the true traditional way of Palo Mayombe, charlatan. Because if you practice syncretized palo as you claim that you are, although you don't accept it, and you call this Mama Umbo, the proper name to use is not Mama Umbo, is Siete Saya, Madre Agua, Macalunga. So you need to go back to Cuba so they teach you how to pronounce or how to name these empungus the right way. Then he goes and he said that by drawing this triangle symbol that represent Ochosi Watariamba, the hunter that he never mixed. Let me tell you something. You faker, practitioner, liar, charlatan. Ochosi is a Yoruba god from the Lukumi Santeria tradition. And anybody, any Santero who practices Santeria can tell you that Ochosi is the hunter, is the god of justice in Santeria, not in Palo. So stop your foolishness of making a lot of people crazy by crossing Yoruba gods with Lukumi Santeria tradition into our Palo Mayombe cult. And like you, there are so many who are doing the same thing. And you people are crazy. You people are madness. And let me tell you something. I saw also that these people, these crazy practitioners, I don't know if I should call them practitioners because they're fakers. But anyway, these foolish people, once they gotta do a spell with fruits, they throw a patty pemba on the ground and they put this fruit that they're going to use for the spell. But what I noticed, that you are drawing a lot of patty pemba which represent all different spirits. So you draw the patty pemba of Siete Rayo, 7 lightning bolt, or Ensasi. You draw the sillo of Watariamba or Chosi, the hunter that never misses when he hunts. You draw the Mamachola, another Yoruba god who was crossed in Palo, which is Oshun in Santeria, but they're mixing it into the Palo Mayombe, cross Palo Mayombe, and they call it Mamachola. Then you draw the supposedly the Mama Umbo, when it's supposed to be Macalunga, Madre Agua, that is supposed to mean Yemaya in Santeria, and you cross that also into the call of Palo. Then you draw the Sarabanda Sillo, Ogun in Palo, Ogun in Santeria, but you cross it into the religion of Palo? Why the hell is wrong with you? Why you need to draw so many sigils for just one simple spell? Because you know better than I that in the old traditional way back in Cuba, if the palero was a true palero and he will have a good palo foundation that will back him up by just a simple patipemba draw on the ground, once he has the spirit, which sigil, which patipemba I need for this spiritual work or a spell to do, with one simple sigil or patipemba will be good enough for this spell. This palero will not need to draw anything else. Not like you, that you draw the whole spiritual court. And it looks, when somebody's doing that, when you draw so many crazy spirit magical symbol or patibembas for just one simple spell, it means that your palo foundations are worthless and they don't back you up. And that's why you have to draw so many patipembas, because if one will not do the whole job, the other one will help you to do it. You are a fool. You are a prankster. You are a liar. You are a faker. You should be ashamed of yourself, calling yourself a palero. And that's why I want you to understand, for all these viewers who are watching these videos, be very aware of these crazy people that they love to confuse people with all these big names. And what they're doing is a total mess, destroying the life of everybody. And let me tell you something, you so-called palerito who are listening to me, let me tell you this straight. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of nobody. Any place, any time, any which way or performance you want to address your challenge. The challenge is up. But let me tell you something. I am not like you, that you need others as chaperones to back you up. I have my enkisi and I have my enganga who will fight for me all my battles. So I'm not afraid neither of you or nobody else of these fakers, priests, who are taking advantage of all these poor people who are trying to learn this religion, and they're trying to get into this religion from the bottom of their heart. And you foolish priests are making benefit from these people by making them a fool of them to get advantage of them. But enough is enough. And I am here to show the world who are the kind of people that you are. Fakers, liars, charlatans, pranksters. But with my religion, you are not going to use this as a game no more. So the game is all over. Salam alaikum, alaikum salam. Piano derechito por guardarraya. And as we were discussing before, that there were some crazy people who call themselves true paleros, and they are saying that by drawing triangle symbols that means that that's a Patipemba that belongs to Ochosi Watariamba. And what these fools they don't realize is that Ochosi is the Yoruba god from the Lukumi Santeria religion, is the god of justice and the hunter for the orishas. And this entity, Ochosi, has nothing to do with Palo Mayombe. The same goes for the square symbol, which these fools draw and they claim that it belongs to Mama Umbo. That's like Madre Agua, the mother of the seas, mother of all waters. Madre Agua, Macalunga, Siete Saya. Actually, that's another Yoruba god from the Lukumi Santeria religion, which is Yemaya, which these people are mixing it, combining it with the religion. They're combining this Orisha god and mixing it with the spirit of the day of Palo Mayombe. And this is just a good example of what is syncretized Palo or cross Palo. Nevertheless, we're going to discuss today about how the Bakongo people or Congo people, they were pretty aware of the forces behind Mother Nature. These four elements were the one who made this world. And we are talking about the four elements. The element fire, air, water, and land. These four elements, when they combine with the soul of a spiritual living, make the fifth element a human being, or a being or an entity. So basically, the Bakongo people, when they start drawing their symbol, when they need to draw a symbol which represents the element fire, they will use the triangle symbol. And just to give you an idea, this is something similar of what is happening in our days when we are comparing astrology, that each astrological sign belongs to one of the four elements. And in astrology, it is said that this element is, when this astrological sign is connected to an element of this, one of these four elements is being influenced. It's like that vibration of that person who belongs to that astrological sign. It will have some characteristic which is going to be determined his personality and through his own life because of its influence of one of these four elements. And I am not saying that, now he's talking about astrology. Oh, that means that Palo Mayombe and astrology are all together. I'm not talking that astrology has to do nothing with Palo Mayombe. It's just an example, because the same way these Bakongo people, they realize that each entity, each human being is on vibration, is energy will be attracted to one more than from the four elements, will be more attracted to one of these elements. And it would be a good example to set, like these people in Santeria religion. When the person goes for a spiritual reading to determine his tutelar orisha or guardian angel, according to the Santeria philosophy, and when the reader in this spiritual reading, once he throws the courage shells, the dilogun, on the straw mat, and once he declared this person, well, you're going to be the God, you're going to be the son of the God of thunder, the God of fire, the owner of the drum, sacred drum, Anya, and thus you're going to be the son of Shango. Actually, as you can see, Shango also, his energy is surrounded by the element fire. So in a way, we could say that this person is going to be inclined, his vibration is going to be connected to this element of fire. And probably you are saying, the viewers at home, but why you're talking and you're giving us all this explanation? What do you mean? Well, this is very important to know, because when you try to do a spell, or once you have to draw a pati pemba, you need to know how to place the proper element which gonna be connected to the person that you're gonna do the spell to. And once we draw the triangle symbol is the one who gonna represent the element of fire. When we draw that in a pati pemba, we are telling to the spirit of the dead, this is where we gonna put the fire. We're gonna force the energy from this point on to go and do not stop, because it's when once you draw this triangle symbol, it's a permanent fire that will not go away. Now we're going to talk about the square, which represent the four cardinal points of Earth, as we discussed before with the four winds symbol of the Impeso Ciantoco Pambuancila, as we discussed before. And since we have four cardinal points of Earth, north, south, east, west, those are enclosed, those are trapped into this square. So what I mean is, and that represents the element which make this planet Earth, land, the soil that we walk on. So basically, a good example of this is if we're going to do a spell for somebody whose vibration incline more or is attracted more to this element of land or soil, there is a possibility that by doing the drawing, we could do it on we have to insert the square symbol, but also I've seen cases that people will get the spell and they will bury it on the ground, inside on the ground. Why? Because in that way, the spell which represents this person will be more connected to its own element. That's an idea, so you can see why they were connecting this symbol with the element. And now, like we discussed before, the circle, which represents the earth element, air. We said before that whenever you see a circle, it means a space that has been closed, and anything that is inside or belongs to that space is trapped. But every time we draw a circle, which represent the air element, also represent an entity, a spirit, or a space who is restricted. And like we discussed before, that's why when people draw, and we already went to the triangle symbol, the fire, we went through the square symbol, the land, and now we go to the circle symbol, the air element. And just to compare that with this sacred path, this could be a dikenga, which it will have information about how this person who has been initiated was born, is going to live his religious and physical life, all the challenges that probably that person is going to face. And also you could see even how this person could die, because it's like a birth certificate for the person who is born in the religion in Palo. That's as a dikenga. That is the practitioner, the palero, the godparents, they know, they got the full knowledge how to read that. Most of the people, they don't got no clue whatsoever. Once the person being scratched, they cannot tell them because they don't know how to interpret it, they don't know how to read them, and it's easy for them to say, oh, your godfather, your father is Siete Rayo, and your mother is Mama Chola, and that's it, goodbye. Next, the ceremony of Tatankisi, and that's it. And they don't tell them the information they need to know. And because of that, this person will face a lot of problems. But also this dikenga can serve as a pati pemba. And I was trying to illustrate it to the viewers so they could see that when a person is initiated into the religion of Palo Mayombe, since this person has passed through the ceremony of Engello or Huatoco, Salam alaikum, alaikum salam. Piano derechito por guardarraya. Like a new initiate. And after 1 year and 21 days, he will get the status of new pine tree, Pino Nuevo. Most of the foundation, if that person get any, his sigils gonna be drawn this way. As you can see, the symbols will be trapped into this square. Once this person will move on into the religion and will get the other ceremonies that he needs, as a Tata Nkisi, Yaya Nkisi, Wawan Kiso, the Bertler or Mayordomo, as they say, Oba Confula, they will get the proper foundation, then they can stand by themselves. They will be set free because they will have a foundation that will back them up. But if they don't get those ceremonies and they are just Pino Nuevo, or they get the ceremony of Engello, they always going to be trapped. Because the circle, what it means, like I discussed before, is the aura the magnetic field of the spirit of the dead, which is protecting this person, in the nganga of this person Godfather. So that's why it's drawn on this way. Last but not least, we are talking about this zigzag symbol, this up and down symbol, this current, which represent the water element. It's very important also to understand when people talk about Afro-Cuban religion or practices, many people disregard the African religion at all, and they just say, oh, just Cuban. And we have to understand that this Afro-Cuban religion, first, when the African came to America as slave, in order for them to preserve their religion, they have to go under the process of syncretization, because many priests, Catholic priests, and these Spanish conquistadors will kill them if they will preserve their religion. They want them to be Christianized, even though they will not have any clue whatsoever what they will be practicing because of the language barrier and culture. And it was a good solution in the old days for African people how to preserve their religion, by making them believe that they became members of these Christian or Catholic practices. But we cannot deny that if the African people will not come to the Caribbean island or to the New World, probably nobody of us will be lucky as we were to have this religion. And it was the Creoles, the descendants of these African people, who tried to preserve their religion, and because of their surroundings, many of the food, many of their tradition have to be changed. And these changes was in order to be adapted to this new environment. But the intention was to keep the religion, even though it would not be to this original way, but to keep it in a way in this new land, along with the tragedy that they were suffering. And a good example of all this Afro-Cuban religion is the Nganga. The Nganga in Cuba is the magical cauldron which reside the spirit of the dead, the Mfumbi. But in Africa, there is not any magical cauldron Nganga. And there are many Palero practitioners, they say, oh no, in the land of Obo, the Nganga of Siete Rayo and Sasi, seven lightning bolt, that's where it was coming from. That's a pure lie. Because the African traditional way how to practice their ancestor religion, it was quite different as how Afro-Cuban descended back in Cuba practice their ancestor religion. In Africa, the Nganga is a shaman or a witch doctor who will have the Minkisi, not an Nganga, the Minkisi, and they will protect their tribe by different spells. So all these terms of taten kissing, yayan kissing, bakon fula, I'm sorry to be the one that have to tell you, but that was a Cuban creation of Palo Mayombe. Because in Africa, taten kissing does not exist, bakon fula does not exist, and whoever think or believe that it exists, I would love to go with you to Africa. I will see it with my own eyes, because I know the ancestor religion that is practiced in Africa has nothing to do with the practice, the Afro-Cuban practice of Palo Mayombe in our days. So, unfortunately, in another good example of syncretization is the Virgin of Charity, that in Santeria they know her as Oshun, and in syncretized Palo they know her as Mama Chola. Chola Wenge, Rio Seco, Dry River, or whatever. But this is very important to, and I'm sorry to say, but it was a good Cuban invention or creation. These new ceremonies of taten kissing, yayan kissing, wawan kiso, bakon fula, all these were born in Cuba. They were not coming in Africa, because in Zaire, in the Congo land, there was no such thing as a magical cauldron known as the Nganga. Whoever is telling you that has no clue whatsoever of what this religion is all about it. So, and it's very important to understand this. It's very important to understand how these people, they suffer a lot. This is slavery. They got their life, they got their freedom, but thanks to their sacrifice, we have today this beautiful religion. But it's cost the life of many of these people. And the point with these 4 element symbols is to let you know that once you need to do a spell to somebody, you need to insert the proper element according to the person that is directing the spell or the spirit of the dead. And if that person is, like we talked before, from the water element, then this water symbol has to be drawn on the patipemba, so it will connect, it will drag, it will attract the energy of this person. Salam alaikum, alaikum salam. Piano derechito por guardarraya. And now I want to give you an example of how you could draw different patipembas for different elements. Like right here, also I want to let you know in advance, these are just 4 simple examples. I just want to keep it simple for the viewers. Remember, this is patipemba, first level. And obviously, the patipembas are endless. There are many and many patipembas. and just only I try to present today only 4. So you could have an idea and you could associate the 4 symbols of the 4 elements with this Patipemba. In here we got the circle, and you could see how for this case, this is not the only case. There are many ways how you could draw Patipemba for the air element, but this is a sample how we could draw for the air element. And if you see, that's how many people use for the 4 winds symbols. And now we have the other Patipemba, that's for the land or soil element. And in here you could see how they have drawn the square. Inside of that square is where they put all the magical ingredients and powders. And by inserting these symbols, the cross and the zeros, are the sacred path where all this spell gonna travel through. So it's a combination of the power, the magical ingredients for the spells inside of this square, and combining its force with this sacred path. And both are going to travel together to its own destination. And here we got another example. That's the triangle or the Patipemba for the fire element, in which you see the spirit symbol of the nyoka. And what actually the palero is telling to this spirit, you see that it doesn't have tail like the others. It just have the triangle symbol. So actually when you have a tail, it will indicate the exit. But in this case, there is not exit. In other words, this force is going to keep traveling. It's going to go back and forward. So the fire, the spiritual shot of this force that have been sending out to its destination is going to have not end. It's going to be permanent. Last but not least, we have the Patipemba for the water element, where you could see how the fluid, the spiritual fluid for this person who belongs to the water element is being sent with these subliminal messages, so it could influence its own personality and destiny. For me, it's very important to let you know that these are free Patipembas. They are not closed, like I mentioned before, like in the case of the Kenga, who the symbols and the forces are closed, are trapped, and nothing, no any arrows, no any symbol goes out from the circle. So everything remains trapped. But in here, these are examples for free Patipemba, for people who have been able to go from the engayo to the next level, as the ceremony for Tatenkisi, Yayenkisi, Wawankisi, Bakonfula. But people who have not reached into that level, then anything they get is going to be trapped, because it's going to be protected by the force of the energy of the main spiritual guide of their godfather, which actually is the enfumbi of the enganga. But in here, since it's first level, we didn't discuss about the dikengas, how to read them, how to understand them, because what really gets into my attention today is that there are people who are being initiated into the religion of Palo Mayombe, and once they're being scratched, the first things they get a notebook, and now they're telling them that when they supposedly do the spiritual reading, they said that you're gonna be Salam alaikum, alaikum salam. Piano derechito por guardarraya. And like I said before, people who are being scratched are facing a new reality. And that reality is that they get a notebook in which supposedly the messages from the spirit of the dead of the Nganga, the message from that spiritual reading is written down on that notebook. And in most of the cases of those supposedly Palo Mayombe notebook that I seen, they tell everybody the same crap. For example, they will tell them, you are gonna be a great head in this religion, you're gonna be somebody who everybody gonna respect you because you're gonna be well known, and so on and so on and so on. And then they go and they tell them, your father is Siete Rayo, your mother is Madre Agua, but then you have to get this Nganga of Sarabanda. But what they are not really telling to this new initiate is the truth. What is the name of the Enfumbi, the witness, the protector of this ceremony of Nkimba, or the scratching ceremony? They don't give them their name, and then they don't give them the dikenga or the explanation. The dikenga will have inside the information of this new initiate, how his life is going to be conducted from now on, what are going to be the problems he's going to face, what are the foundation that this person, this new initiate, needs to get, what are his prohibitions, and even what is his death, the problem he's going to get. But what I'm seeing this day, the people who get scratched, they get this ridiculous notebook that got no sense. Then they supposedly get the ceremony of Tata and Yayankisi, and then they keep this shame of getting older people to do to them the same foolishness that they did to them. And the worst of all this part is that they are crossing these people by this Pati Pemba who reside inside of the magical Calderon or Nganga. And these so-called godparents, they got no clue whatsoever of how to read them. They don't understand how this Pati Pemba function with the a spirit of the enfumbi. And because of these ignorant practitioners, they don't have any clue, the godparents, what they're doing, but they're giving away to these new godchildren other papi pembas, so they could be playing around with them for any problem they have. And it's very sad because these people, their life turned upside down. They face a lot of problems. They get all screwed out. They get all confused. I even seen people that they're receiving luceros before they get a scratch, and they say it's okay because then I will get it later on. I'll get my initiation later on with my godfather. No engajo. I don't care who you are, have the authority to receive any Palo foundation because you have not advanced to the next level, and that is Tatankisi, Yayankisi, o Baconfula, the burglar of the Tata, the right hand man of the spirit of the dead. And basically, the case is even worse if you start receiving a lucero even before you being a scratch. Because if we are telling you that if you are a scratch as engajo and you don't have the proper ceremony, you have not go yet to get the spiritual force that you need to control, to summon the spirit of the dead who reside inside of that lucero. How the hell you think that just by being an engajo you're gonna try to tell the spirit what to do? This spirit gonna laugh at you because you got no authority. You have nothing in the religion of Palo who gonna back you up, and that's what happened today. How many people that they claim they have been scratched, they have thrown everything away because it doesn't work, because it was not prepared properly, and then they supposedly got parent because they just want to take the money. They keep doing all this foolishness to this one, to the next one, and they don't care. And that's why, unfortunately, this Palo religion has been disintegrated little by little. And it's time to know the truth, and it's time to face this reality. It's time for these people who have seen these teachings that I'm giving you as a gift from the bottom of my heart, free. And it's coming from the book Dikenga, also written by me and Ngunda. So I'm giving you this information so the next time you visit a Palo Mayombe Munanzo or Palo Mayombe house, you will be able, next time you go, to compare, to read, to distinguish. Oh, look at this sigil. Oh, this is how it ends. This is how it starts the spirit. Oh, look at how the ñoga move. And this will give you a clue. And you will feel much happy and better with yourself, because you see that now you are able to understand a little bit more of the language of the Patipembas. From the bottom of my heart, I wish you the best, and I hope that you have the best luck that you can have. And I hope these teachings will help you to move on in the fabulous world of Palo Mayombe. Thank you very much for your attention. Salam alaikum, alaikum salam. Piango, piango, derechito por Guatarraya. Today, I want to talk about the Pati Pembas. We already discussed, all this course of Pati Pemba is first level. There are other courses of Pati Pemba that they're gonna come very soon. This time, I wanna give you as a gift to all my Empangis, to all my brothers and sisters of the religion,